Okay, good to be back again. Okay, let's see. Microphone is definitely working. I think the desktop audio is working too. That's good. Let's see who's here. Do not open is here. Hi there. Let's see. Yeah, the stream went down because my I was doing my mobile. I was playing a mobile game and it uses up a lot of internet for some reason. So I had it seems to like if I'm using the Wi-Fi for that as opposed to the mobile data, it messes with the stream and I always forget that. So that's why that happened. Oh well, and see. And Jasmine is here, just finished watching Friday the 13th for the first time. I haven't seen that movie before because when I was a teenager, I liked watching horror movies, but I always avoided watching movies that were called slasher movies. So I never watched Friday the 13th because my understanding is that it's a slasher movie. But but I've kind of gotten used to, like, they're not as bad as what I thought they would be, so I might check out some more. But yeah, I'm very behind on slasher movies in general, so I'll have to check them out at some. But was Friday the 13th any good? Is it something you would recommend? And is that the movie that has the character Jason in it? Like the bad guy is called Jason? Let's see. Wait, heck, it's a marathon. Okay. Yeah, so I was just watching this Wuthering Heights movie review. It sounds, the movie to me sounds ridiculous, this new Wuthering Heights movie, but I saw somebody explain what Wuthering Heights, the book, is, and it made me kind of go, it's kind of made me want to actually read the book, even though it's not something that I don't know. I guess, like, from my perspective, I always thought that Wuthering Heights was just a romance book, but people have sort of said that it sounds like they've made it sound like actually it's not about love. It's about, they're saying that it's a psychological thriller story that gradually turns into a ghost story, and I'm like, okay, that actually does sound kind of cool. So it's kind of piqued my interest to read the book. But yeah, I definitely would have preferred. I remember I'm aware of, like, the racial controversies of Wuthering Heights, and because apparently in the book it's explicitly said that the character is not white, and I've seen enough samples of the book that pretty much confirm that, and so I always thought that it would have been great if Dev Patel had been the Heathcliff character. So yeah, it's a shame that didn't happen, because I don't think Dev Patel gets enough roles in, like, he needs to be in more, like, I really want Dev Patel to be in more sci-fi movies. I just really want to see, like, a big budget sci-fi movie with Dev Patel in it. I would love to see Dev Patel in a Star Trek show, actually. That would be great. What else should he be in? But yeah, I don't know if I'll actually read Wuthering Heights. I'm just saying I might, because I still need to finish the Epic of Gilgamesh. I pretty much stopped reading that after Enkidu died. But yeah, I should read it at some point. Oh, you read part of Wuthering Heights at the time? Oh yeah, that's another thing. The person who directed this new Wuthering Heights movie, her name's Emerald Fennell, and I remember I saw her I saw her first movie. It was called Promising Young Woman, and it had Blake Lively in it, and also who's that guy that everybody likes? The comedian guy. He did like that thing called Inside. Bo Burnham. Yeah, Bo Burnham is he's in Promising Young Woman, and that was a really good movie. And I remember thinking at the time that based on that movie, I remember thinking specifically that Emerald Fennell should direct the works of Daphne du Maurier. Yeah, she does. She's done like things like she's written books like I don't think she wrote a lot of books, but she wrote My Cousin Rachel, and she also wrote Rebecca. And I've seen the Rebecca directed by Alfred Hitchcock before. It's okay, but I really want to see that updated. To be honest, maybe it has been updated and I just didn't keep up. But yeah, she should be. I remember thinking she should, but I've kind of. It's amazing how much faith I've lost in Emerald Fennell as a director because, and to be clear, I've only seen her first movie, which is Promising Young Woman. Fantastic movie. A lot of people don't like the ending of that movie. I thought that ending made complete sense, and I wouldn't change anything about the movie. It looks amazing. I really loved all the colors. The color grading was fantastic. And yeah, the screenplay was tight, very tight. I think it's Blake Lively. It's definitely my favorite Blake Lively thing ever. That was just a peak. That was just a peak performance from her. But man, But then Blake Lively did this other movie called Saltburn, and I haven't seen it. I don't want to watch it because I was tempted to watch it because everyone kept saying that it was like really art house, and I love art house. I really like it when I do like the unapologetically art house movies like. I haven't seen the movie Him yet. I will check it out because I have heard people say like it's so pretentiously art house, and I'm like, I love that shit though. I love art house crap. But the thing that sort of puts me off from watching Saltburn is that there's an infamous scene in that movie where they just there's a scene where somebody is going down on a woman and she's having her period and he's just eating her period basically, and I don't want to see that. I feel like I think I'd be sick from watching that, so I don't want to check that out. But the other reason I don't want to check it out is because I've also heard that it's kind of a rip-off of a movie called The Killing of a Sacred Deer. And I love Killing of a Sacred Deer. That's one of my favorite movies. But it's very underrated. It's by Yorgos something or other. I forgot his last name. Yorgos. We'll just call him Yorgos. And yeah, he's done movies like he's done movies like what's it called? There's a movie called Lobster that he did. He did The Favourite. He did another movie with Emma Stone where she's like a Frankenstein monster. But that was but most people don't when they talk about Yorgos, they don't talk about The Killing of a Sacred Deer. It's such a fascinating movie to me, and like I have my own sort of interpretation about it. I think it is very symbolic. It's also very absurd. There's a lot of absurd moments throughout, but I think it's basically about the Antichrist, like, I think there might be some. Yeah, I think there's a lot. I do think there. It's very subtle, but I do think there's a lot of. I do think that it is sort of a portrayal of certain things that happen in the Bible. That's but put in a modern day setting, kind of, but it's not necessarily that. I've also heard Super Eye Patch Wolf describe the killing of a sacred deer as it's about a man emotionally devouring a family. That's probably a very apt way of describing it. And wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, that's right. So it's just sort of disappointing that that movie. Yeah, just from what I've heard about it, it just sounded very disappointing. And then Wuthering Heights comes around, and it's very much like, because to me, I guess the thing with the movie Promising Young Woman is that it was woke, and I like things that are woke. I just do. I like things that are woke, and so it was disappoint. So it's disappointing that her approach to adapting Wuthering Heights is not that. It sounds like it's somewhat self-indulgent. It sounds like it's entertaining at least, but it does sound like it was just a consumer grade product and not trying to grapple with what it was getting at. So that's my sort of take on it anyway. Okay. Anyways, I'll finish this review another time. Another thing that came out, I will be reading in a moment. I'll just go set that up actually. I really, really hope that at some point we get a flash animation with these troll characters, because it feels like it's taking its sweet time getting there. Because I would really love to use like a flash animation with the troll characters for the opening, when I do my like beginning intermission, my opening and closing intermissions for the Homestuck streams, because it feels like I'm reading a completely different story with all of that. Anyways, also there's this new Knights of Guinevere announcement that Glitch has put out that I'd like to check out, and hope I don't know if it's. I hope it's like. I don't know when Knights of Guinevere is coming back, so I hope that it's. I hope this is information about that.
Activia has probiotics 100 times stronger to survive.
And not another. What do you call it? Merchandise announcement.
And reach the gut alive.
Not that, because I can't afford the merchandise. I don't buy crap. I just want the thing. Not that there's anything wrong with people supporting the show by buying merchandise. It's just I personally that's not. I just like to watch the show, and I understand why they have to do the merchandise. I'm just anyways.
Excuse me.
What's this style called? It's very Peanuts.
Do you know how to get to Park Planet?
Well, it looks a little older than the Peanuts cartoon that I saw.
Pardon? Do you know how to get to Park Planet?
I don't remember her voice sounding like that.
Does anyone know how to get to Park Planet? I do. Just follow along this magic song.
Oh my
Don't
god.
be down, don't be blue. There's a wonderful world right here waiting for you.
So I remember in the first episode, people were really taken aback by the violence in the pilot episode of Knights of Guinevere. But people were like, oh, but it's not that technically violent because it's all just you know, it's not, because it's all robotic violence. You know, and all the blood is blue, so that means it's okay. This is red blood. Someone is bleeding. This character here is watching somebody bleeding to death. So that's fascinating. Also, god damn it, I in my YouTube feed, there's a YouTuber called Roundtable. He does videos about cartoons. He's always doing this thing where he baits you, and he puts out this video this morning called "The Owl House is Back," and I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. It's not like. So I didn't watch that because I'm not gonna reward that. It really annoys me like when people do that. It's like, oh yeah, the thing is back. It's like, no, it's not. It's not back. What are you talking about?
Where you'll sing and you'll smile and we'll do it a brand.
Hang on.
Sing and you'll smile.
That was such a creep. She's perfect. This whole shot is making me go, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the context of this.
You'll smile and we'll do.
Who was that? Is that the Walt Disney stand-in?
We'll do it a brand.
Yeah, that was blood.
Sing and you'll smile and we'll do it a.
Okay, so I'm glad there's gonna be some like actual. I really hope that this is actually blood. I hope this is actual human blood, like, you know, the mortality of the human characters will not be guaranteed.
A brand in an elegant style, it isn't so far. Reach for a star, grab hold of the light, shine through the night. It won't be long. We'll see you on Park.
So he looked pissed off. I'm assuming that means the two girls, they've managed to break free of him. I hope that's the case. That's what seems to be happening, is that they've screwed him over. And they're leaving him behind, they're escaping, but he's not going to let it go.
On Park Planet.
Okay. So that's them saying that this has now officially been greenlit. That gives me some peace of mind. Because so the thing about glitch is, okay, so I need to explain this because I see a lot of people. I feel like I do think there are criticisms against glitch, but like, you know, the criticisms like, oh, they're doing too many shows. That's not a real criticism in my opinion. Like, maybe I've talked about this before, but I need to repeat myself. Because they're able to, they can put out fully produced pilot episodes, you know, make the best version of a first episode that they possibly can, and then based on the reception to that, they'll either green light the show or they won't. It also depends on merch sales. People were complaining that they were doing too much when they announced a new show, and I reacted to the trailer for it. I forgot what it was called. I think it was called Game Over or something. Game Oververse, that's right. And people were like, no, they're doing too much because they're doing 3 shows. It's like, I don't think it's too much if you think about it in terms of they're making 1 episode at a time. They're making 1 episode at a time, and then, you know, and that comes out when it's ready. And that, I'm sure they have their deadlines, which, you know, is always helpful to have. And what else? But also that Game Oververse, I'm sure I can't remember if it's going to be a Glitch production or a Glitch Presents show. It might, because they're not producing Lackadaisy, they're just presenting Lackadaisy. That's their plan for the future. But yeah, that Game Oververse show, like, I'm sure it's going to be the same thing where they'll put out a pilot, and depending on the reception to that, you know, they'll either make it or they won't make it. So it's not necessarily greenlit. It's just like, hey, here's an announcement for a pilot, not necessarily the announcement of a show. So, yeah.
That's right. See you there.
Can't wait for the return of
Okay, so it was so it was a trailer and it was a trailer and it was also a merch announcement. Okay, let's not worry about it. This does look kind of cool though. The art of the pilot. I also had my heart broken this week from finding out that, as a huge Steven Universe fan, you know, I've been really hoping that one day I'll get to see another project from Rebecca Sugar, because, you know, she's responsible for a lot of my favorite Adventure Time episodes. I'm pretty sure the only reason Marceline and Bubblegum became a couple was because of her interpretation of the characters and what she put into the storyboarding. And I think eventually it became a thing because of their contribution to the show. And Steven Universe was just this absolutely, like, I've never got the feeling that Steven Universe gave me, like that particular euphoria it gave me at the time was just, it was like nothing else. And I've always been hoping, like, you know, that I'll get to see another big project from them in the future. And I've also been meaning to watch a show called Amphibia. So someone called Brayley made a show called Amphibia. I think Rebecca Sugar did some work on it, probably. But yeah, I've been meaning to check that out for a bit, because, you know, I like frogs. I'm sure that when I was a kid, I really loved frogs. And so Amphibia would have been a show that I would have loved to. I would have been obsessed with that show because it's about frogs. The plan was that Rebecca Sugar and this Brayley person were going to make a movie together with Sony Animation, the same studio that's given us things like, you know, Into the Spider-Verse and K-Pop Demon Hunters, some of my favorite animated spectacles of all time. And they're also making this new movie called Goat, which might be good. But for some reason Sony Animation, they decided to cancel this movie that Brayley and Rebecca Sugar were going to make together. And I was reading the synopsis for it, I'm just like, holy fuck. Because it's about someone who is dying and coming to terms with, like, their mortality. And I'm like, holy shit, that sounds amazing. And apparently it was going to have, like, all this Thai mythology, and I was like, that sounds amazing. And it's just canceled. And apparently the reason it's been canceled is because it's considered not commercial enough. And I kept... But apparently, like, Sony Animation, they had a similar thing about K-Pop Demon Hunters, where they were like, oh, this probably isn't going to appeal to anyone, which in retrospect is ridiculous, because K-Pop Demon Hunters has a lot of commercial appeal because it's about K-pop. K-pop is the biggest thing in the world right now. It's been the biggest thing for many years now. It's like it was already primed to be successful because of the success of K-pop. And what do you call it? And of course, you know, Spider-Man, like, that's obviously that was always going to be commercially successful because it's, you know, it's Spider-Man. Spider-Man is, like, the most... I think Spider-Man is bigger than Superman, probably. And then there's that other movie called Goat, which is it's a furry movie, but it's about basketball. So that's kind of like where, basketball is pretty huge. So I can kind of see how, Sony were probably like, okay, yeah, that, furries are fanatics. A lot of people like, they're probably not looking at it like, oh yeah, the furries will save this movie. They're probably looking at it, well, they're all animals, and people, kids like animals, so they're gonna watch it because of that. So if all the characters are animals, it'll appeal to the kids. It'll bring in the child audience, and also it's about basketball, and everyone loves basketball. It's basically, I don't know if it'll be any good. It kind of gives me the same feeling as when I watch the trailers. It gives me the same feeling as watching the Space Jam movie. But maybe that's why they greenlit it, was because of the Space Jam 2 coming out. Sorry, I was just reading the chat for a second. I don't fully understand the conversation that I'm looking at. But yeah, I better wrap this up in a few minutes and actually start reading Homestuck, because I think I've more or less said. But yeah, I'm just really disappointed that Sony Animation because I think with all of those things, Into the Spider-Verse, and also, GOAT and K-pop Demon Hunters, there was some risk involved in that. And I think those risks paid off. So I think it's such a shame that, Rebecca Sugar and Rayleigh, who are highly acclaimed, who have, Rebecca Sugar in particularly having like the clout that they have. I think it's such a shame that they, that they weren't given a chance to make a movie together, because I think it would have been really great. Yeah. Okay. One more thing. Because speaking of the Spider-Verse, I got a huge shock today. This morning, where I am, I found out that Nicolas Cage is doing a TV show as Spider-Noir. And I was shocked by that, because Nicolas Cage has never done television. He's done he's appeared on SNL, and that's it. He's never, ever done TV before. He's doing a Spider-Noir thing. And I'm like, what the heck is happening? And I've seen the trailer. It looks amazing. It's being released in color and black and white, so people can choose whichever one they want to watch, because some people don't want to watch black and white shows, and I'm like, I'm watching it in black and white. That would be my preference for it, because it's Spider-Noir. So yeah, that was I'm excited about that. I might talk a bit more about Nick Cage in the future, but not now. Right now, we're gonna start reading some Homestuck. Now, did I read this page last time? Can Make Her Talk to Me do something? Who? You're no good. You no good, conniving, fucking backstabbing girl crush. That's who. Oh, you're no good, conniving, fucking backstabbing girl crush. That's who. Overstating our relationship won't make me feel very cooperative. It's paler red than that, okay, huh? Psh, that is a fucking laugh, and you know it. Everyone does. So help me out. Tell her to talk to me. I think she blocked me. You got to. Why do I got to? I don't got to, and every time you take my help for granted, I feel like I got to a little less. Whatever. You are so the village two-wheel device when it comes to hospitizing. You can't let a grudge go by you won't stick your busy stem betwixt. So get with the program, fussy fangs. I think I might have read this page once. Yeah, I think I did read this last week, but I'll just read it again. If your slander weren't so predictable, I'd block you too for saying that. Has it occurred to you she may have blocked you because you are very overbearing? I just said that aloud, now in your silly accent, and had a private moment of enjoyment. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit why she blocked me or about my fucking manners? Come on, you've got away with her. I figure if you're going to ostracize any two brine suckers who sneer at each other at a funny way, you might as well make it official and be ours, right? Your black solicitation just seems really indecent. What do you want from her anyway? She gave me something per a prior arrangement. She will deliver it when we meet in this game, but I don't know what the logistics are yet. I'm trying to connoiter with her here, but she's blowing me off again. Fickle, dirt-scraping land hag. What is it? Can stupid. What do you think it's a fucking gizmo to blow up the world or something? Okay. Well, not that obviously, but something that'll kill all land dwellers. What else would I be after? Can you just for a moment entertain the thoughts of the untouched by megalomaniacal derangement and tell me why I'd want to assist you with that? Well, I'm not going to very well kill you, am I? That would be fucking unconscionable. What kind of friend would I be? Also, speculate for a moment. That self-preservation might not be what would sway my decision. Yeah, go ahead and kiss us off, but there'll be blood on your hands. You could either play along as our auspice. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Auspice, and do a little mediating like you were fucking hatched to do, or watch she and me devolve into fucking full-fledged kismesis, the kind like you don't get once in 10,000 sweeps. Yeah, somebody called Demon Cleo gave me some sort of thing on Blue Sky. Some sort of kismesis troll guide. Let me just look that up. That's what it would be. There would be rainbow rivers running through star systems and all nebulizing like liquid fireworks. It will be beautiful and heartbreaking all at once. You should read up on your history instead of pouring through that god-awful sunny rubbish. It's just laborious listening to this. I'm sorry, none of it matters. Yeah, I've definitely read this. I'm just going to skip ahead. Wait. Oh, that's right. I got the... There is a lot to do before you enter. Okay, so we're entering the game. Let's see, let me just look up this person's... because I do appreciate that somebody sent me this. Let's see. Come on, where is it? Homestuck Troll Guide. Okay. I'll have to save that. I'll have to look at. I'll probably look at it tomorrow actually, and I'll have it up on the screen tomorrow, and I'll have just so that I can have glances at it every now and then. I don't care if we read this before. If we read this before, I love this log conversation. No, I'll skip it for now just because it was becoming too familiar to me. Anyways, there is a lot to do before you enter. There will be a lot of people to talk to and help along the way. No, not meddle with or mediate. Help, damn it. Oh no, I'm allergic to helping. You are very helpful. Oh, is she now? Oh, she is me, right? Okay. You have a lot of inside information on what you and your co-players, I nearly said cosplayers, are about to face. You are jacked tight the fuck into this thing. In so many ways, we don't know what to say anymore. And it's not just cloud visions either. You have another source. Consult the source. Oh. Things went dark for a second. Okay. In one dream, the clouds pointed you to the address of a server hidden in an obscure pocket of realm unknowable to the mortals. It contains a journal written by a young member of an alien species. She has documented her experiences playing the game you are about to play. You can only assume this took place a long time ago. This race is likely ancient, preceding yours by millions of sweeps, maybe billions. You like to try to imagine the adventures of these players. Were they successful in repopulating their race? Did they manage to protect their matriarch and hatch a new mother grub? Could they hold it together? Or were they torn apart by the complex social dynamics? The mate sprite ships and Moya and and cosmicitudes that will surely plague your group along the way. You have little doubt they succeeded with flying colours. Let's see. Yes, the source. The source is... which we saw hiding. Okay. Yes, what? Oh, this is such a cool picture. Oh, I love this picture. Yes. This is amazing. Okay. You have little doubt their victory was because of their leader, a great heroine, the tentacle therapist. The tentacle... Sorry, I went silent for a second because I'm like, the tentacle therapist, that's the... Isn't that what Rose calls herself? She calls herself tentacle therapist, right? Not because she's weird. Well, she is weird, but not because she calls herself that because she's into H.P. Lovecraft works, I believe. From what she recorded, it seems the group had very little knowledge of what they were getting into. I'm having a bit of a mind-blowing moment for a second. And yet they appear to have been the only of their kind to have risen to the challenge in a session stacked heavily against them. You are convinced her leadership was the difference. What is going on? What is going on? Because I know what this is referencing, that Rose wrote a very detailed thing, and this is what she's referencing. What's going because I know that these characters can time travel. Because my understanding was that their world got wiped out before the human world got wiped out, but this makes it seem like the human world got wiped out before the alien world got wiped out. Let me just check the chat real quick. It is how she signed her game guide. Yeah. Okay, this isn't a spoiler. This is Rose's guide. Yeah. Signed RL. Yeah, Rose Lalonde. Yeah. That she hid at the end of her last game FAQ. Yeah. Where she said she was going to search for answers a way out of their situation. So we're supposed to know when we see the server floating in space that it's Rose's guide. Okay, and Kanaya assumes that Rose's guide is happening many years before hers instead of wherever it actually happens. Okay, so it is... Okay. So somehow Rose's game FAQ thing goes into time travels to the past to where these aliens are before their world gets destroyed, and that's how they know shit. Let's see. Rose put her guide out into the wider multiverse, specifically the furthest ring, which is a space outside of time. Okay. So Kanaya's imagining what she must have looked like because that's a human. Okay, so this is... So, yeah, okay, because that's literally Rose's weapon. So this is just her, like, oh yes, she was an awesome troll girl who impaled a guy in the head. Shenanigans. Yes, it's shenanigans. Yeah, we'll go with shenanigans. Well, because my understanding is that the trolls have been using time travel to fuck with the human characters. But, yeah, anyways. At least that's how it seemed. Though they seem to have a greater purpose that they're trying to... that I haven't figured out what anything means. Okay. Whoa. Yeah, so this was awesome. This is awesome. Okay. To have risen to the challenge in the session stacked heavily against him, you are convinced her leadership was the difference. Well, we don't know how that turned out yet. All I remember is that Jade died and I was really upset about it. It would be nice to have a chance to talk to her. Well, in a way you already have. Well, you will and you have. Anyways, alas, she's likely been dead for millennia. Only the incomplete record of a long-forgotten quest remains. A long-forgotten quest remains. Okay. On the other hand, if you were to discover her quest ended in failure, it might be somewhat disillusioning. But that thought never crossed your mind. Tavros, enter. Yes, Tavros. Having narrowly dodged obliteration, you take your place as the Page of Breath in the land of sand and zephyr. And in time, this is a really cool looking windmill. It looks like, or it's a broken windmill. That's what it looks like to me anyway. Tavros! Go outside and look at what I built for you. You are going to flip. Okay. I think this is probably meant to antagonize me. What are you talking about? Look at my beautiful building. Don't you think it's about time someone got a little creative with this game? Maybe. Everyone always wants to do things the boring way. Didn't we make a truce, Tavros, that we would try to be less boring from now on? You don't want to break your truce with me, do you, Tavros? No? Great. Now get climbing. Please don't read this as a boring thing, I hope, but it's physically impossible to do that mostly. Man, I knew it. Torier Snooze is back in action. Why don't you, in like a not boring way, build more inclined surfaces like you did over there? Maybe you could color them with fun colors so you won't think they're boring and get angry at me some more. I built that ramp because you were in a hurry to save your life, remember? A dead Tavros is even more boring than an alive and crippled Tavros by a slim margin. My stair structure is lovely and I'm not changing it. Now hop out of your wheel device and get climbing. Climbing or crawling, whatever. Stop being so helpless. It's pathetic. It will take a long time. What's the rush? You're in the game, safe and sound. Look in the sky. Do you see any meteors? I sure don't. But there are imps around, and I'll be sort of defenseless, lying down on the stairs. You did not just use that excuse. We both know you can commune with these things. Hey, why don't you psychically command them to carry you up? Oh my God. That is a great idea. Once again, leave it to Vriska to come up with the creative solutions. I wouldn't really want to make them... Vriska is the one who crippled Tavros, right? Am I remembering that correctly? I wouldn't really want to make them do that. I just don't understand why we can't do this the easy way. What good would that do you? Whatever the purpose of this game is, it makes you work hard for it. That way you become stronger along the way and you are better prepared for whatever's next. Remember when we used to flarp together? It was the exact same principle, and that's why you were always outmatched. You were too soft and not well prepared. Oh yeah, and that's right. Vriska? That's right. No, what's his name? The little bastard guy, the one that's always all caps and he's always angry all the time. What's his name again? He was like telling Vriska her hate for Tavros is shallow and that she's barking up the wrong tree. I'm sorry if I still don't fully understand the whole romance system in this situation, but I just have that in mind as I'm reading this conversation. Like, is she coming on strong? And he's like, I don't reciprocate. Let's see. You forgot to turn on live chat. Alright, you guys are talking to each other. Vriska did indeed do that. Cool. Alright, gotcha. Remember when we used to flarp and nothing comes easy, Tavros? Do you remember where was I? Nothing comes easy, Tavros. This is why we go through the trials and the brooding caverns when we are young. To make sure we are strong when we come out. Do you remember the trials, Tavros? Not very well, no. Well, I do, and they were a bitch. But now that I think about it, it would make perfect sense if your trials were really easy by some mistake. That is why you are such a soggy phlegm sponge, and why you got picked by such a sad, frail little Lucis. Aww. But that's okay. It probably wasn't your fault. Just a bad I can't pronounce it. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Just a bad brick. Carcat Mantis. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, Carcat was telling Vriska that her, like, you know, telling her there's not a chance, basically. Okay. You're lucky you have me as a server player, so I can challenge you and help you get strong. Now hop out of that seat and get climbing. I will deliver the device to you once you are at the top. Climb, pupa, climb. So she just basically called him a baby. Maybe I should ask Tinkerbell about this. He's really smart now that he can talk. No! You don't need help from your lame bull fairy. He is only holding you back. He's my friend. This is getting, God, pathetic. This is getting frustrating. Why did I have to get stuck with the cripple? Just my luck. Do you have any idea how inconvenient this is? Do you have any sympathy for what I'm dealing with here? Lady. I mean, Vriska. You're so inconsiderate. You just sit there looking smug. It's infuriating to look at you. You haven't even thanked me or apologized for them. This is such a... It's like you're the one who like wrecked his body. Oh my god, okay. You haven't even thanked... let's see. Thanks, Vriska, for saving my life. It sure was brave and heroic and pretty of you. Also, I am sorry from the bottom of my nook. Seriously, how hard would that have been? Okay, thanks, I guess, but sorry for what? For being crippled, you asked. You're the one who did that to him. You want me to apologize for being paralyzed? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, say you're sorry. I don't mean to be rude or boring, but that's ridiculous given the circumstances. Bullshit. It's something called basic decency and civility, you fudge-blooded poor or bore. Now get down on your useless wobbly knees and apologize. No, I don't want to. Ooh, rejection. Damn. So she's like clicking on him now. Apologize, pupa. Apologize. Say you're sorry for being a cripple. Wee. Tavra, summon Rufio. Oh, that's right, Rufio from the best movie ever. Now, what's it called? What was that movie called? Hook. Now she's done it. She has awoken the mighty inner fury that is Rufio. I really want to know, does Dante Basco know about Homestuck? Does he know that his character is referenced in Homestuck? I know that he knows people get tattoos of... I know that he's a little bit tapped into the impact, the cultural impact of Rufio, because he's met people who get Rufio tattooed as a tattoo, and then he said that he read like an essay about like the childhood trauma that Rufio represents, because like for a lot of millennial kids, it was probably like the first time you saw a kid die in a movie. It was like probably the first like big thing. So I really want to know, like, does he know about Rufio being in Homestuck specifically? But unfortunately, Rufio is not real. He's imaginary, a fake, like a made-up friend, the way fairies are. You continue to be sad and alone. Vriska. Wee! Dante Basco was informed that his character is in Homestuck, and he ended up reading the comic and becoming a fan. Yes! Yes, that's great to hear. So I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to go down that rabbit hole in my own time. I'm really glad. That makes me so happy to hear that. Okay, so she's clicking him. She's shoving him around. Okay, Kanaya, mediate. So she's about to get toileted. That's uh-oh. Kanaya, go. Let me just read this one more. Hey, maybe I'll find. I think. There's a tweet. Yes, please send me screenshots of the tweets. I would love to check those out. This is the greatest news I've heard all day. It almost makes up for the bad news about Rebecca Sugar's movie being cancelled. Okay, Vriska. Hey, what's your deal? Shouldn't you be helping me out of this jam instead of fussing with my plumbing? Just presenting a floating reminder that Tavros will need plenty of incline surfaces for his ascent. That's silly. I made so many ramps, you wouldn't even believe it. I specifically decided I wanted to build something ugly and boring. It is now the land of ramps and yawns. He's reported otherwise. That's that lousy Stitch. Maybe I should take his computer away so he can't go crying to Fussy Fangs anymore. Maybe I should upend this load gaper over your head. No, don't. I'm still learning the interface. It could happen accidentally at any moment. I'm only trying to help him. Think of another way to help. Fine, I'll do something nice. I have an idea. I will be right back, and for the record, I was going to do this anyway. I was just trying to make him a better player first. Okay. In the meantime, how about I serve my client player the way I think is best, and now you can do the same for yours? I thought I was. That reminds me, in the game Baldur's Gate 3, me and my friend, we've been doing an honor mode run together, and his character is very tanky. She's like she's a paladin. His character's a paladin, tiefling, bard, and my character is a halfling, because I specifically went with halfling because halflings have a lot of luck. They have something called halfling luck, so it's just they're recommended for doing like a Sorlock build, which is what I'm doing with my character. And my friend keeps taking advantage of this by grabbing my character because their character is strong enough to do that, and throwing my character somewhere else. Sometimes that is handy because sometimes my character will get stuck in a spot because the character can't jump anywhere, particularly high. So sometimes I need my friend to throw my character to somewhere more convenient, but I need to have I'm keeping smoke bombs on hand in case he comes up to me, and I'll just be like, hey, if you do this, I'm gonna throw a smoke bomb at you. So that's what this exchange reminded me of. Okay, Vriska, hurry downstairs. Oh yeah, no pressure. Like you can send. Yeah, don't. I could always look them up myself. Actually, there's no need to send me the things. Let's see. We've got some treasure here. Okay. You make your way down to one of your innumerable loot strongholds, where you stash riches and golds and jewels and prizes plundered during your campaigns. There they are, your rocket boots. You must confess you will find favor with just about any kind of footwear as long as it's bright red. You would wear these striking boots even if they were broken pieces of junk, okay? But so it's not just that they're practical. She just likes them because they look good, specifically because they are red. Yeah, bright red, not blood red, bright red. But as it happens, they work just fine, and they are awesome. Take them. So she's got the best of both worlds. So she's capture logging her boots with an that also turns into an 8-ball for convenience. That's cool. Vriska, go back up. What's happening? What's happening? Okay, something got clicked. Okay. Quit cleaning after me. You are so ridiculous. Vriska, get code. Okay, what's about to happen? Uh-oh. Shwews. Okay, send code. Pew. Tavros, alchemize. So he's in his little car. Fly, pupa. I really like how he's drawn with like his eyes like looking up, like he's just like in his own imagination. Fly! And again in time. Lead fearsome entourage into ruins. Okay, so commune. What's he communing with? Confer with teammate. Okay, so I'm trying to. Okay, so like I have noticed like some of this. Okay, so the HIVEBENT storyline is taking place before the events, or it's leading up to the events of John and Dave and Rose and Jade's adventure, which is also incomplete at this point. So it's taking place before then, but there's stuff like this whole frog thing situation is part of Jade's island thing that she's got. I'm trying to figure out like how that's all connected. Okay, confer with teammate. Yes, another piece of fits. Yes, another piece fits. We are making some strict progress on this puzzle. Oh, that's cool, I guess. So where do you think is the next one? I don't know, probably buried in the stupid sand somewhere like all the others. Okay, that's mostly what I was thinking too, but it suddenly doesn't sound like you think the puzzle is cool. The puzzle sucks. All puzzles suck. If I have to help you put one more dumb slab of boring rock into another stupid wall indentation, I am going to put an indentation in my desk with my face. But it looks like a frog, and that's kind of fun. Snore. Oh no, Vriska, you and I are enemies now. We're enemies. You can't be. Sorry, I just had this horrible realization that I didn't edit the information of the Twitch stream, so it's set as a Baldur's Gate 3 stream. No, god damn it! Okay. Then, okay, Homestuck. This is, okay. Well, that was horrifying. Yeah. That must be really weird for people who were looking up Baldur's Gate 3 streams. Okay, now where was I? Snore. These puzzles are, let's see, Snore. These puzzles are for wigglers. I solved way better puzzles than this in my heyday as Mindfang. I'm assuming she went by Mindfang back in the day. Oh look, some ruins. Oh look, another mysterious recess in the wall. I wonder if something fits in there. It probably just opens a secret passage to more wall indentations. I am so over this puzzle. But they are necessary to solve, aren't they? To find new magic artifacts and things, and learn more about the lore of this land. Tavros, let me let you in on a little secret about the lore of your land. It's boring. Ugh. The minds of your consorts are very soft and impressionable, as easily manipulated as all those imps you've been tossing around. So, I'm not going to say who Vriska reminds me of, but... Okay, so I have a problem with, so I really like it when people, I have a lot of appreciation for when people are creating a story and they put a lot of thought into, like, the little details, like the lore and the world building, and I really hate when people are just, like, so dismissive of that. But at the same time, like, I do have this kind of attitude when it comes to something like Star Trek, for example. Like, people go on, like, I saw somebody, like, really glazing how one Star Trek show gave a lot of respect to, like, the past of, the legacy of Star Trek, and really, like, really took that part seriously. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I don't give a fuck about the continuity about Star Trek. I watch Star Trek as, like, an episodic show. Like, that's how, that's how I've viewed Star Trek in the past. Like, I watch it when it's on and it's dealing with, like, a concept or an idea for that particular episode. And that's all I care about when it comes to Star Trek, is how did the episode have a good idea? Did it have a concept? Did it have a metaphor that it was, like, dealing with, and how did it view that? And I don't give a fuck about its lore or its continuity or its legacy characters. That shit doesn't fucking matter. It should, that's how I view Star Trek. And I have been watching the original Star Trek show lately, and it fucking sucks. And don't watch it, it sucks. Like, the characters of the original Star Trek show really do transcend the quality of that original show. Except for Captain Kirk. No one likes Captain Kirk. He sucks. And I'm not saying that because Billy Shatner sucks as a person. I'm sure there's a human being deep down in him somewhere, but no, the character just doesn't hold up as well. And originally, he wasn't supposed to be the main character anyway. He was just made up because the show couldn't go ahead with this other character being the main character. Anyways, let's see. As easily manipulated as well as the bossing around. Okay. I have picked apart their tiny little lizard brains and seen through all the smoke and mirrors of their riddles. I have gotten to the truth they are guarding, the great big mystery behind this plant, And you know what it is, Tavros? No, it's bullshit. Meaningless, boring, fanciful bullshit wrapped in flowery poems to keep you guessing. It all leads to one thing anyway, and that's what we should put our attention on. Real gamers cut to the chase. They power through all the nonsense and go for the gold. They cheat, Tavros. It is time you learn to start cheating. I feel like Vriska is the type of person who's really into speed running, but is toxic about it. And doesn't just like I just want to get to the result. I don't care about the process. I want to skip the process. Should probably be into AI art then, where it's just like I just care about the result and not the process. And it's like, no, the real art is process. Art's never about the result. Okay. I thought I kind of was cheating by making friends with monsters. Well, it's a good start. You are bending the rules and getting stuff done. Okay, I will admit I am fairly impressed with your progress so far, even though you still probably haven't even killed a single enemy. No, don't bother. I know you haven't. But maybe that's okay. Maybe it's just your style, and your real strength is surrounding yourself with allies who are much more stronger than you. Like me. I'm sure there is more than one way up the ladder. Ladder. In your case, probably the only way is to roll gently up the ramp. I'm trying not to. I had to not laugh at that. Sorry. The path of the invalid. Yeah, I agree. But I think it's time to stop fucking around. You need to be challenged more. I have been designing a quest for you that should test your true limits. Oh, is that what you were doing all this time? Yes. I mean, not that I don't appreciate it, but don't you have your own quest to do? Yeah, well, after she got me in the game, Kanaya just left me in the lurch, probably because she's dealing with her own crisis now. Which is just as well because I was starting to get nannied hard. You wouldn't even believe it. Nannied? So I had some time to kill. I drew you a map. Whoa. Yeah, take a look. It marks what will be your new destination, where you will find the ultimate challenge. Let's see, what's going on? Let me just read the chat real quick. Nope, nothing. I thought something happened. Okay, Tavros, look at map. More boring puzzles, ignore them. To 7th gate, go here. Okay. So he's here now. And he just needs to go to the gate. Gotcha. Where does it go? I have determined from your consorts that there is a terrible monster deep underground. It guards a hoard of treasure bigger than either of us can imagine. It is called a denizen and is the boss of your whole planet. Tavros, you will go and face your denizen. Won't that be too difficult? It will be the most powerful adversary you have ever met, but you can handle it. I believe in you. Thanks. I mean, I respect that you have lots of pirately bravado about stuff, and you type fast about it. But I think this is foolish and not sensible. I will probably just get killed realistically. Maybe that is the risk you take by being a brave adventurer. But it is a good opportunity to apply your cunning. Maybe you could rally a huge army to bend to your will and you overwhelm the monster? Who knows? It is up to you. This is it, Tavros. It is time to sink or swim. I should get Kanaya's advice, or maybe Karkat since he is the leader. No! Oh god, every time, always going and getting to others to bail you out. Anyway, Kanaya is missing in action, and Karkat has his head up his nook with his new stabby hate friend. Neither can help you. So, I've noticed that the word nook seems to be synonymous with heart and also butt. So are these people butt-hearted or heart-butted? What's going on? I don't think Vriska would like AI art. Well, her attitude feels, I don't know, her attitude towards the game kind of reminds me of the attitude that people have about, just wanting results all the time as opposed to, anyways. I suppose that's probably not fair. It's probably more fair to say she's into speed running. I probably shouldn't have brought up the AI art thing. It's more fair to say she's just an angry speed runner. Plus, she probably has some other things on her mind. She cares about challenge. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's probably more accurate. She would probably see it as a lame tool for weaklings who can't draw. That's true. She'd probably just like she probably would like to find some real artists who have potential, and then she'd like whip them and be like, okay, now do this, now draw that, and she'd probably say, make it more realistic, and she'd just be like, until they're like, become Kentaro Miura. Okay, let's see, where was I? Neither can help you. It's just hard to figure out if you really think this is a good idea strategically, or if it's just more of the thing where you harass me but sound excited about it. Tavros, I know nobody believes me about this, probably not even a gullible dope like you, but I actually care about your advancement as a player. Everything I have done has been to make you stronger. So sometimes when I'm reading Vriska's stuff, when she's talking to other people, in my mind it sounds sarcastic, and I can't tell if she's like how sincere she is. Like, I know that I do feel sorry for her in some aspects, but I'm like, but at the same time, she is kind of shitty because she kills people, she paralyzes people. Anyways, okay, I still don't know what to believe about that. You are useless. I'm done talking about this. Now shut up and point that cherry vehicle of yours toward the X on that map. Next stop, Gate 7, let's go. This isn't optional. You know very well that I can make you go to that gate whether you want to or not. But I would rather it not have come to that. What will it be? Advance or advance? So it's like, are you going to consent to advance, or are you going to make me advance you? Let's see. Okay, I will go. Oh, one last thing. Equip your Boy Skylark outfit. This will be Pupa's last stand. I mean sit. Ha 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 ha. Tavros, point cherry vehicle towards X on map. Here he goes. You proceed through what seems to be your second gate, into the land of maps and treasure. The thief of light lies in wait. She's asleep on her little mountain of balls. Let's see, wait. Let's see, wake up, Vriska. And so here he is, dressed as Peter Pan. It appears Pupa Pan himself has flown. That's it. Oh my, it appears Pupa Pan himself has flown through your window while you were asleep. How exciting. Surely he is here to take you away on an adventure of a lifetime. He is more dreamy and heroic than you ever imagined. But what's this? It seems the legendary boy Skylark has misplaced his shadow. He is looking everywhere for it, to no avail. He is having a devil of a time. What with being paralyzed from the waist down and all, he clearly needs your help. Vriska, help Pupa find shadow. This is such a funny image. Pupa, you truly are a silly goose. Your shadow has been trapped underneath your useless torso the whole time. Honestly, where else would it be, you stupid sack of shit? What? It's like she just kicked him, like a tap kick. I remember when I was in high school, I was friends with somebody who was really messed up. So and I won't go into detail about that. But we don't talk anymore. We haven't talked for many decades. But when he was asleep, if you kicked him in the head, and we shouldn't have been kicking him in the head, but we just noticed that whenever we kicked him in the head, he would not wake up. There was nothing that could wake him up. He was that heavy of a sleeper. But yeah, he might have taken something that caused that to happen, and we shouldn't have been kicking him in the head, but yeah, we don't know what, yeah. He's fine. I saw him alive a few years ago. He's fine. Anyways, I won't go into detail about that guy. Okay. Of course, the secret to reuniting with your shadow is to get up and walk around and play and dance and frolic. Your shadow will surely join you in your gaiety, but it appears Pupa has lost the use of his legs. There will be no frolicking in this young man's future unless apply special stardust. Let's see, let me just read this. So we got a page of breath, Thief of Light added to the few roles we know. What's going on? Poof. I hope that's nothing bad that she's just thrown on him. Everyone knows that just a pinch of special stardust along with a happy thought will allow any boy to get up and walk up again. Everyone knows this because it is the classic tale, Pupa Pan. Young Pupa flies through the window of a fairy girl's respite block. Oh yeah, the respite block. Falls on the floor and has trouble getting up like an enormous pansy. The fairy girl then helps him walk again, and in return, he teaches her to fly, even though she probably already knows how to fly, because she's a fairy. They fly out of her window together and have magical adventures for many sweeps thereafter. To be honest, you hardly know a damn thing about Pupa Pan, but you do not care. So he's dizzy from whatever that was. Pupa remains as pathetic and useless as ever. The stardust did nothing. Probably because it is just glittery powder with no magical properties whatsoever and is basically bullshit. Because in case it wasn't clear, magic isn't real and neither are miracles, or it could just be that Pupa has failed to have a happy thought. Your duty is clear. You will have to make him happy. You'll have to make him have happy thoughts. How? How are you going to do that? Make Pupa have happy thoughts. What's going to happen? He looks scared. Why is she looking at him like that? Okay. What is going on? Why is this happening? He's like, what the fuck just, he's like, It looks like he broke. So, okay. So there's this little heart thing, question mark. But there's also a spade here. And she's got this look on her face of, why isn't this working? So she dumps him. Okay. Manipulate. Oh, okay. So she does like him, and now he's manipulated. And then he slumps. Kanaya, deal with your own crisis. What was that? What did I just read? I'm so confused. Okay, so Kanaya's with her Lucis. Is this a Lucis or a Sprite that she made? Woo, crisis resolved. It was no doubt harrowing and suspenseful, but in the meantime you have left your client player in the lurch. Ideally, she has not gotten herself into too much trouble, and ideally the dramatic irony has not gotten so thick you could draw a dotted line on it with a tube of lipstick and cut it in half with a chainsaw. Kanaya, return to serving client. So she's watching them kissing, and she's like, what the hell is going on? And she looks really angry. So that's why she had you make this dress for her. Okay. And you just went along with it like a sucker. Ah, you are such an idiot. So that was real. They actually. So why is Vriska doing this? Okay, does she like Tavros? Is that why, or is she just being? Okay, Mother Sprite. Okay, so that is a Sprite. That's right. Her Lucis died, right, and then she turned its body into a Sprite. There, sweetheart. Kanaya, it's hard. Does Kanaya like Tavros? What's going on? Being a kid and growing up, it's hard and nobody understands. Try to understand. What is this? The problem is that when the subject of troll romance is broached, our sparing human intellects instantly assume the most ingratiating posture of surrender imaginable. Okay? But we will do our best to understand regardless. Humans have only one form of romance, and though we consider it a complicated subject spanning a wide range of emotions, social conventions, and implications for reproduction, it is ultimately a superficial slice of what trolls consider the full body of romance experience. Our concept of romance, in spite of its capacity to fill our art and literature and to rule our individual destinies like little else, is still just that, a single linear concept. A concept usually denoted by a single symbol, the heart. Troll romance is more complicated than that. Troll romance needs 4 symbols. Okay, here we go. So there's red romance, concupiscent, and there's black romance. Red romance, black romance, conciliatory. Let me look up these words. Okay. Concupiscent. Okay, so this is sexual. Okay. And conciliatory. Means passive. So this is sexual, passive, red, and black. Okay, so but what do we mean by red and black? Their understanding of romance is divided into halves, and halved again, producing 4 quadrants. The flushed quadrant, the caliginous quadrant, the pale quadrant, and the ashen quadrant. This reading that reminded me of like the options you get at the beginning of Attack on Titan, where you can either join the Garrison unit, or the Freedom Fighters unit, or the other one. Okay, let me just look at chat for a second. Kanaya likes Vriska. Oh, right. And that's what her conversation with CA was about. Okay. CA is Karkat, right? And AG, as in Vriska, has these, I guess, conflict about how she feels. The slump was her just letting him go because manipulating him didn't make her feel any better either. Yeah, because it wasn't real. It wasn't real. Time for romance class. Yes. Dino's better at explanations. Well, yeah, the military, please. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So let's try to understand how this all works. Okay. Each quadrant is grouped by the half they share, whether horizontally or vertically, depending on overlapping properties one examines. The sharpest dichotomy from an emotional perspective is drawn between red romance and black romance. Red romance comprises of the flushed and pale quadrants, is a form of romance rooted in strongly positive emotions. Black romance, with its caliginous and ashen quadrants, is rooted in the strongly negative. Okay. On the other hand, the vertical bifurcation has to do with the purpose of the relationship, regardless of emotions behind it. Those quadrants, which are concupiscent, as in sexual, the flushed and caliginous, have to do with facilitating the elaborate reproductive cycle of trolls. Those which are conciliatory, the pale and ashen, would be more closely likened to platonic relationships by human standards. There are many parallels between human relationships and the various facets of troll romance. Humans have words to describe relationships of a negative nature or of a platonic nature. The difference is, for humans, those relationships would never be conceptually grouped with romance. Establishing those sort of relationships for humans is not driven by the same primal forces that drive our tendency to couple romantically. But for trolls, those primal forces involve themselves in the full palette of these relationships, red or black, torrid or friendly. Trolls typically feel strongly compelled to find balance in each quadrant and seek gratifying relationships that each describes. The challenge is particularly torturous for young trolls who must reconcile the wide range of contradictory emotions associated with this matrix, while understanding the nature of their various romantic urges for the first time. Of course, young humans have this challenge too, but for trolls, the challenge is fourfold. Fascinating. This is a very interesting concept, but it's also kind of hard to it's not very applicable to, it's an interesting concept for this thing, but it's not necessarily applicable to things that I would experience. I don't think I could ever feel I feel negatively platonic towards this friend. I don't think I could ever feel that way. Yeah. I think I basically understand what's going on, but let me just read the chat. Okay, Caligula, Aquarium. The last troll introduced. Okay. Trying to get Kanaya to make Vriska... Trying to get Kanaya to make Vriska talk to him. He calls Vriska her girl crush, and when Khan says it's paler than that, he calls BS and warns her about splashing into stuck in the Moirail zone. The Moirail zone, yes. Conversation also implies some feels towards CC. CA also oops, and also references actually their conversation referenced all four in some way. Interesting. This is a very, this is very complicated. Very complicated relationship dynamics that these characters have. Examine flushed quadrant. Oh. So that's John's dad and Rose's mum. Okay. And they're holding hands. So we're finally getting the human characters back in a little bit. When two individuals find themselves in the flushed quadrant together, they are said to be mate spirits. Mate spritz ship is the closest parallel to human concept of romance trolls have. It plays a role in the troll's reproductive cycle, just as it does for humans. This is pretty obvious. Not much more needs to be said about this. Moving right along, examine Caligenous quadrant. Okay, so who was this? Okay, that's the queen, the white queen, I think. And this was someone who was subservient to her. And I remember she made him wear some sort of clown hat. Yeah. When a pair of adversaries delve into this quadrant, they become each other's kismesis. As one of the concupiscent quadrants, it plays a role in procreation as well. Okay. There is no particular good human translation for this concept. The closest would be an especially potent arch rivalry. For instance, human players would never be able to adequately diagnose the relationship between the queen and her arch-agent. The troll players could immediately place it as a dead ringer for kismesitude. They would think we were all pretty stupid for not getting it, and they would be right. So I was thinking, I mentioned the TV show Beef before, where these two characters really, really hate each other. But the thing is, like, they eventually realize that they're actually soulmates. And we don't actually know what, if it's meant to be romantic or not, or even sexual. It might not be, but it is definitely love at the end. And we don't know if it's romantic or platonic, or sexual, or both, or all of it. But it's something. Like, it's not just hate that they have. But the hate makes them care about each other. It's something that they really, all they care about is each other in this very hateful way. But I don't think that it's necessarily... I don't know, like, that's what the troll romance thing, like, the way it's been building up to this explanation, this breakdown, that's what I've always been thinking of, is that particular TV show. Anyways. But as they say, they're, it's arch rivalry, and it seems to matter a lot to them, but there's no good human translation for the concept. As I said before, it's probably not applicable to humans at all. For instance, human players would never be able to adequately diagnose the relationship between the queen and her arch-agent. But troll players could immediately place it as a dead ringer for kismesitude, they would think we were already pretty stupid for not getting it, and they would be right. Okay, I don't remember this. Maybe this is the first time I'm seeing it. Trolls have a complicated reproductive cycle. It's probably best not to examine it in much detail. Yes, I appreciate that. We need to seek out concupiscent partners. The need to seek out concupiscent partners comes with more urgency than typical reproductive instincts. This reminds me of a particular... there's a particular episode of the original Star Trek with Spock, and where his mating cycle comes up, and he has to urgently go back to his planet to complete the cycle, because he has a betrothed on his planet, but I don't think they've ever what's the word? Consummated their relationship, even though they're betrothed. I don't think they want to either, but they have this biological urge to complete the cycle. But instead of mating, he actually ends up getting into a gladiator fight with Captain Kirk. And I forgot how it all happened. It's a very iconic episode, but at the end of the episode, you've got Captain Spock back on the ship, and he's normal again. And I think the Doctor says, "Oh, so my theory must have been right that you didn't have to complete the cycle; it just passed." And Spock, he clarifies that the cycle didn't pass and that it did actually complete. And he said, and then the Doctor's like, "I could be misremembering this is just how I remember it in my mind. My memory might not be accurate, but I recall the Doctor saying, wait, when did the cycle complete? Because he never ended up mating with anybody." And I think Spock said, it happened during the fight, as in fighting Captain Kirk made him come at some point. That's what it sounded like to me. I think that's what the implication was, but it was very funny. Okay, where are we? Okay. The need to seek out concupiscent partners, urgency. When the Imperial drone comes knocking, you had better be able to supply genetic material to each of his filial pales. If you have nothing to offer, he will kill you without hesitation. Damn. The genetic material, without going into too much detail, is a combinative genetic mix from the mate sprit and chemesis pairs, respectively. The pales are all offered to the mother grub, who can only receive such pre-combined material. She then combines all of it into one incestuous slurry and begins her brooding. Ugh. This doesn't mean the initial combination was for naught, however. In the slurry, more dominant genes rise to the force, while the more recessive find less representation in the brood. Especially strong mate sprit and chemesis pairings yield more dominant genetic material. The more powerful the complement or potent the rivalry, the more dominant the genes. Okay, so the stronger your feelings are, the stronger your biology is. Troll reproduction sure is weird. We all take a moment to lament how pedestrian the human reproductive system is, and further lament that the phrase incestuous slurry is not a feature of common parlance in human civilization. Yeah. Alright, good brag there, Andrew Hussey. Let me just read the chat for a second. Yeah, this is the first time for for this panel. Okay, examine Ashen Quadrant. Okay, let's see, this is called a club, right? This quadrant involves a particular type of three-way relationship of a black romantic nature. Okay. Falling on the conciliatory side, it has no bearing on the reproductive cycle except for indirect ramifications. Okay. I'm assuming this is about incompatibility. When two trolls are locked in a feud or some otherwise contentious relationship, one can intervene and become their auspice. And I'm going to look up. No, I won't look it up. The auspice mediates between the two, playing the role of a peacekeeper, preventing the feud from boiling over into a fully colliginous rivalry. Since such lesser feuds are quite common among trolls, there is a significant need for auspicizing parties. Without them, too many ashen feuds would become colliginous and begin to conflict with other exclusive chemesis relationships, leading to a greater deal of social complexity and sore feelings, even more so than black romance usually involves. Without auspicism, the result would be widespread black infidelity. Oh, this fucking guy. So this is like all of it. This is like two things. This is black, it's red, it's anyways, let's just read it. Okay. The relationship each quadrant describes tends to be malleable, if not volatile, especially on the concupiscent half. Actually, you know what? Maybe troll romance is applicable to Wuthering Heights. The way that's, because people say, oh, it's not really romance. It might be troll romance. It might be like, maybe Wuthering Heights is a type of troll romance. The relationships each quadrant describes tends to be malleable, if not volatile, especially on the concupiscent half, where more torrid emotions reside. It doesn't take much to flip a switch and transmute black rum feelings to red rum, and vice versa. In many cases, one party will have red feelings while the other has black, but it will often be the case that one party's feelings will swap to match the other's, since there is no quadrant which naturally accommodates such a disparity. But thereafter, it's not uncommon for the two to toggle between red and black in unison now and then. These scenarios naturally result in both red and black infidelities. There is this sort of relationship volatility is why conciliatory relationships are an important part of the troll romance. Okay. Well, this is so trippy. An auspice can stabilize particularly turbulent relationships if the auspice fails to mediate properly, or has no interest in the role, or perhaps has different romantic intentions, him herself altogether, then the relationship often quickly deteriorates into one of an especially hostile and torrid nature. There are many outside factors and influences tugging and pulling these relationships in different directions, and unlike humans who have very orderly, simple, straightforward romantic relationships, without exception, trolls exist in a state of almost perpetual confusion and generally have no idea what the hell is going on. Being confused by troll relationships is one thing we do have in common, though. Let me just take a screenshot for a second. just gonna change the name of the stream for a moment. I think it'll happen automatically. Okay, wait, where was I? An auspice can stabilize particular. Oh wait, I just read that. Examine pale quadrant. That's right. He's like a racist, and she's of the same race as him, or the same blood, or she's either of the same blood as him, or she's of a superior blood type, and he's like really controlling of her, and she doesn't care about the things that he cares about. This quadrant presides over moirailigence, the other consolatory relationship. A reasonable human translation would be the concept of a soulmate, but in a more platonic sense and a more specific social purpose. Trolls are a very angry and violent race. They are more hot-tempered and dangerous than others to the extent that it is left to their own devices. They would present a serious threat to society or even themselves. Such trolls will have an indistinctive pale attraction to a more even-tempered troll who may become their moirail. The moirail is obliged to pacify the other to function as the better half. Okay, the two partners in a strong pale relationship will serve to balance and complement each other's emotional profiles and thus allow their other relationships to be more successful. Reading that reminded me of, it brought to mind Rick and Morty's dynamic. It's often ambiguous, especially among young trolls, whether a bond formed between an acquaintance is true moirailigence, or the usual variety of platonic involvement. Furthermore, romantic intentions of a more flushed nature can often be mistaken for paler leanings, much to the frustration of the suitor. But some pale pairings, as the one above, will be strikingly obvious to all who know them. Okay. And yes, the fish, the ocean dwellers, and yet others seem to have been more hatched for each other. Wait, more troll romance exposition, please. Sorry. Let's see, the auspice for me and Vriska, or else is gonna be this epic kismissitude. Okay. Oh, okay, so that's right, that guy was like, he thinks he's superior to her, and that's why he abuses her. Okay. God, you just can't get enough of this, can you? That would have been a great point for a transition out of this. This whole troll romance thing, to me, would make a really good Star Trek episode, actually. Like, they come across it would be awesome if there was like a Homestuck Star Trek crossover episode where they just use this particular troll species as as the basis of a Star Trek episode. Yeah, this whole everything that's being explained to me right now, all this exposition would work really well for. I would love to see it as like a Star Trek episode. I'd like to see it explored in a Star Trek episode. That would have been a great point for a transition out of this illustrated sociological study, But okay, if you insist. Now see what's going on here is, it's perfectly simple. When the full matrix of troll romance is in action, we have, hey, why don't you figure it out? You should be an expert on all this by now anyway. I guess. This is absolutely nuts. What's going on here? Oh my god, it's John. John's back. Okay. You know what? I'm going to keep reading this tomorrow because I'm starting to get really hungry, and I promised my friend that we would be playing Baldur's Gate 3 around this time, so I should probably wrap this up and eat something. So I'm going to save it here, and we will continue this tomorrow. I promise. And I will take a screenshot. And tomorrow's stream will probably be called More Troll Romance. All right then. I hope this is a good spot. I hope that's okay with everybody. Let me just read this. Neither he's low. I think he said it's okay but not great, and both of them say the other is lucky to have them, and then both Nep and I think CC or Kanaya say the specific line, if not you, then who? Everyone has an important job to do. We can talk through it. Never mind. All right. Well, I hope you'll have a good weekend, and I hope to see you all tomorrow as I learn more about these very fascinating dynamics, and maybe we'll see and understanding what the troll romance between Carcat and John is. All right. Well, bye for now, and take care of yourselves.